Hello guys, welcome to our next video, which is sketching cubic curves part 2. So before we go straight into sketching a cubic curve, you have done the basics in the previous lesson. So let's recap it a little bit. So when sketching cubic curves, there are 6 things that you need to know before you sketch them. First thing, your px has to equal to 0, something that we've always seen. Second step, we factorize it. Pretty simple. Third step, you solve for x. So we're using the null factor. When you're solving for x, you're technically finding your x-intercept. Yeah? Obviously, when you find your x-intercept, you also need to find your y-intercept, which is your fourth feature. Fifth, you always have to check to see if it's a positive or negative cubic curve. And then once you have all those information, you can start sketching. Okay, I'm going to put a nice big box around here. That's something you guys really need to know. Alright. Now, when I say check for positive and negative cubic curves, let's do another recap. A positive cubic curve looks something like this. So you start from the bottom in life, something happens, and you end up at the top. So start from the bottom, and now you're at the top. This is a positive cubic curve. Okay. Negative cubic curve, you start from the top, okay, something's happening that's negative, okay, and then you crash and you burn and you go downhill, and that is a negative cubic curve. Okay, negative cubic curve. Alright, let's do an example. So let's say we want to sketch this type of polynomial. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this. So we have a copy in our next page. Alright, so we're going to sketch this. First of all, we want to make sure that our px is equal to 0. So we're going to rewrite it. X cubed minus x squared minus 10x minus 8 is equal to 0. Second of all, we want to factorize. So to factorize, we have to find a factor. Looking at our last term, what are the factors of 8? We know that 1, 2, 4, and 8 are factors because 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 8 is 8. Alright, so let's try the first one. We can try plus and minus 1. So let x equal to 1. So P1 equals to, we're going to sub every single x value as 1. So 1 cubed minus 1 squared minus 10 times 1 minus 8. Put it all into your calculator, you should end up with minus 18, which is not a 0. So it's not a factor. Next one, let x equals to minus 1. We're going to substitute minus 1 in. So minus 1 cubed minus 1 squared minus 10 minus 1. Please remember to put these brackets in because the negatives can really screw you over. So type it all into your calculator, you end up with 0. So therefore x plus 1 is a factor. Alright, now we're going to do long division because we want to completely factorize it. Okay, so long division. We have x plus 1, and we're going to divide into x cubed minus x squared minus 10x minus 8. So first thing, we check our powers are descending, 3, 2, and 1. Yes, let's get straight into long division. So this times x has to give you x cubed. We know x squared times x gives you x cubed. X squared times 1 gives you positive x squared. Subtract it. We know x cubed minus x cubed gives you nothing. Minus x squared minus x squared gives you minus 2x squared. You're going to bring down the next one, minus 10x. So we have something times x gives you minus 2x squared. So we know minus 2x times x gives you minus 2x squared. Minus 2x times 1 gives you minus 2x. Subtract it to find the remainder. Minus 2x minus minus 2x cancels out. Minus 10 minus minus 2 gives you minus 8x. Then we are going to bring this term down, minus 8. So, same gist, something times x has to give you minus 8x. We know minus 8 times x gives you minus 8x. Minus 8 times 1 gives you minus 8. Subtract it to find the remainder, you have nothing. So therefore, your px is made up of this times this. So px is x plus 1 times x squared minus 2x minus 8. But we have to further factorize. Okay, so to further factorize, I'm going to open up two brackets. X times x gives you x squared. 4 times 2 gives you 8. We want to have minus 2, so minus 4 plus 2 gives you minus 2. So I'm going to rewrite x plus 1, x minus 4, x plus 2 is the factorized version. Okay, so looking back at our chart here, we have px equals to 0, correct? It's being factorized, correct? Now you need to solve for x to find your x-intercepts. So I'm just going to copy this. Actually, to find your x-intercepts, you're going to make them equal to 0. X plus 1 equals to 0. X minus 4 equals to 0. X plus 2 equals to 0. Solve for x, minus 1. X equals 4. X equals minus 2. Therefore, x equals to minus 1, 4, and minus 2. And these are your x-intercepts. Alright, so that's done. We're going to do the next step, which means we are going to find our y-intercept next. So to find your y-intercept, we usually make x equals to 0. Okay, so looking at this, to make x equals to 0, we're going to substitute it in. So 0 plus 1, 0 minus 4 to find your y-intercept, and 0 plus 2. Put it all into your calculator or your brains. You should end up with a number of minus 8. Okay, and that is your y-intercept. So looking back at our charts, let's just double check again. We have our y-intercept. You need to check for positive or negative cubic curve. Alright, so to check, we know our equation is y equals to x cubed minus x squared minus 10x minus 8. Looking at this cubic term, it's a positive cubic curve. Okay, positive cubic curve. So we know it should look something like this. Okay, once we have that, we're going to start sketching. Okay, so let's sketch. Whenever you're sketching, make sure you use half a page. Okay, I'll probably do that here as well. We're going to draw our axes. Y-axis, label them with an arrow. X-axis, label it with an X and a 0. Now looking at this, we know -1, 4, and -2 are our x-intercepts. So let's note them down. -1, 4, and -2. Make sure they are in rough estimations. So those are our x-intercepts. Our y-intercept is -8, which is somewhere around here, -8. We know it's a cubic curve, which looks something like this. So if I was to draw it, I would do just a rough one. Something that crosses all 3 points like this. And that here, guys, is my cubic curve. Thank you.